Today we're diving into the new features of Pigments 6, the latest addition in Arturia's powerhouse synth that keeps getting better with free updates. So whether you've been here since edition 1 or you're new to the Pigments clan, there's guaranteed to be something that will add to your creative arsenal within this update. Let's start with a headline feature, the new Modal Engine. This uses physical modeling to create hyper-realistic sounds. The resonator is the heart of the engine, and it's enhanced by 2 exciters. One handles the initial impact or collision, and the collision exciter has attack, volume, and filter controls. This can be switched with a transient, of which there are 10 samples to choose from. The friction exciter keeps the harmonics alive with ongoing energy. We can control density, volume, and filtering. We can also experiment with noise and granular modes for different tones. The noise exciter contains 10 samples to try out, and the granular option lets us play with rate and tuning. In an incredibly exciting turn of events, Pigments now has a vocoder built in. You can take a vocal sample and imprint its characteristics onto your patch, but you don't just have to stop at vocals. Using less obvious samples like percussion, we can get some interesting sounds too. You can set any engine, utility, or filter as the modulator signal, alongside audio and FX in. Included modes are vintage, modern, and dirty. And we can dial in the bandwidth, performance, decay, gate, and sibilance controls, and choose to enhance the signal too. Next up, we have the new voice modulator. This is a random value generator that breathes new life into each note that you play. I've mapped the voice modulator to the filter cutoff on this respace. Every time a new synth voice is triggered, it generates a user-defined value. We can click the dice to randomize values or fine-tune them precisely. We can also choose up to 8 voices and set the polarity to our preference. And there are 3 modes here. Cycle mode increments through the values 1 step at a time. Reassign will assign 1 value per voice until you have all 8 mapped. Finally, there's random mode, which does what it says on the tin and randomly assigns values. This one's good for a touch of unpredictability, but speaking of randomness, there's also a new random modulation source. Adjust step distances, jitter, and apply smoothing, all synced up to your tempo if you need it. Now let's talk granular synthesis. The granular mode in Pigments sample engine now has a scan knob, which lets you move the playhead backwards and forwards through the grain stream. This opens up a whole new world of creative time stretching and dynamic textures. For those who love modulation madness, the new envelope follower in the combinate section is a must-try. The envelope follower lets you map signals from various points in the signal chain, like filter outputs or engine levels, and use that data to modulate anything you want. Here we have an amen break, and we're using the level to set the cutoff point of a low-pass filter. Very fun. There are 2 new filtering options. We have cluster and LoFi filter. The LoFi filter gives us this awesome ring modulated kind of sound by combining filtering with downsampling. And the cluster filter generates multiple cutoff points and spreads them around, giving a really nice sense of movement. And finally, if you want real-time preset recommendations, then you're in luck. Each time you select a preset, you can get a list of similar sounds and effortlessly switch between them. And don't forget the 100 new factory presets, 53 new wavetables, and 97 fresh samples ready to fire up your inspiration.